Yeah, first, just want to shout out to Tiger Nation and DKS. That crowd was reminiscent of the Gamecock series. It looked like a regional, super regional crowd. There was just an electric factory. There was buzz. It was noisy. It was rowdy. It was perfect. It's exactly what we were hoping for. And to think that we've got almost 7,000 here, what we end up with 6,600, Hen? 6,600 on a Tuesday night. Obviously, top 10 matchup, great program in Georgia, great team. But even still, 8 o'clock game with rain in the forecast, and still to show up like that and show out. The crowd and the fans were every bit as instrumental in that win. And the win, the word that kept popping in my head was just like a surgical type of performance. It was pitching, defense, timely hitting. You got from Talon Bell all the way to Lucas Malstad to Reed Garris coming in the middle of an at-bat. I thought that was a huge part of the game. But the pitching we got tonight to shut out incredible offense like Georgia has, with all the threats in their lineup, with 105 home runs on their team, and to put up that many zeros is tough to do. But just testament to all the guys that went in there and just pounded the strike zone, and the defense we played behind them, and then we got the timely hits when we needed them. So it just a great team win. Very proud of our guys, and now turn our attention back to ACC play and get ready to go to NC State.
Questions for Coach?
You talked about Bell. Now he gave 3 outstanding innings to start the game. Was you looking for more of that, or was that kind of just a measuring stick for him tonight?
He's still on a strict pitch count, so we had him a max of 60, and so he was, I think when he came out, he was at 50 something. So it was kind of like when he got to 50, it was last hitter, and but the timing of it worked out anyways. But I thought his first 40 pitches, he looked really good, in control, dominant, looked great. Escaped a jam in the 3rd inning, but just they're very poised for a freshman, and he just keeps getting better every time he goes out there.
That was a good college baseball game. Both teams playing good defense. They took some hits away from you guys. You took some hits away. Is this kind of a precursor to what postseason looks like?
I think so. I think you've got depth. You've got they have some power pitching. They definitely have power hitting. But that's kind of the recipe of postseason baseball, because everybody's good, and you're going to have to pitch. You're going to have to play defense. You're going to have to get those timely hits, and it's going to come down to who plays better, because everybody is about evenly matched up in different areas. But that's where I just felt like the 2 out RBIs, we got 2 of those tonight, and pitching out of some big jams with their dangerous lineup, that was huge.
Lucas.
They seem to struggle a little bit this year with left-handed pitching. Is that something that you saw on tape? I think like the first 4 pitchers they saw tonight all was left-handed till you brought Garris in. Is that something that you had saw on tape?
Yeah, we were going to try to go all left-handed until we got to our 2 guys at the end. So that was by design, but I think their offense is dangerous no matter who's pitching. So they're always one swing of the bat from changing the complexion of the game. I just think before Cam hit the 2 out RBI double in the 7th, it was we were up 2-0, but there were multiple innings where they had the go-ahead run at the plate and 2 guys on base, and any one of those guys can hit it out of the stadium. So you're just always on edge. And the margin is small. You got to make a quality pitch when you're facing hitters with that type of power.
Lucas Molstad tied a program record for saves, single season saves, I guess. When he joined Clemson, is this something, would you ever think he envisioned that he would achieve something like this when he joined Clemson 2 years ago?
We knew he had a lot of experience. He was up for stopper of the year when we got him. And so he came in very talented. That's an unconventional look. People don't practice hitting, from down there off of opposing or from, coaches. Coaches don't throw batting practice from that. So it's a tough look to see, and he's added to his repertoire. He's increased his stuff. He's now slot changing all the way up from 3/4 down to submarine. He's also an entrepreneur, Subby U, his website and his business. He's given online lessons and selling merch. So he's a physics major. He's just a stud. So yeah, this is a guy that can do anything. You know, he's already CEO of his own business, and he's about to get a physics degree from here. You know, so no surprise that he's figured out a way to, you know, tie the program record in saves. And I didn't mention it to the team. I'll obviously make a big deal of it when he breaks the record. But he's just on that, you know, methodical path of just, he cares a lot about his pitching and how he does it and his craft, and he's always working on it. And so yeah, no surprise that he's achieving a high level of success. And that's the kind of kid that, you know, that's the type of person, that's the type of kid you want to have records broken, to guys who work extremely hard and are about all the right things.
Coach, I know you talked about wanting to expand Clemson's reach and really being in a hot spot between Atlanta and Charlotte, and with the Tigers playing Georgia these last couple of years, what would you say about a potential neutral site game at Braves Stadium eventually?
Was that you who tweeted that? So I saw that on Twitter.
I reposted it. Yeah, I was talking
always
about
say
it.
Twitter. I always can't help it. Was that you who posted that and tagged Graham in there too?
Yeah, I did. Yes, sir.
That was you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, that's a great idea. Play at Truist Park. You know, I don't know if we want to play each other 3 times. I already played South Carolina 3 times, Coastal twice. So if we didn't, it's just because we already have a tough enough schedule that would, you know, maybe make it a little too tough. But I like the idea of instead of home and away alternating each year, just to do it at Truist. That would be really cool. I don't, you know, that's way above, you know, my decision-making pay grade capabilities. So, but I thought it was, when I didn't know that was you who posted that, but when I saw it on X, I thought that's a pretty good idea.
Dominic Listy has 19 hit by pitches so far this season. I guess for him, is he, when he's getting hit by so many pitches, does he have to ice his body? Does he have to rehab his body? If that makes sense after all the pitches that he's been taking so far in his career.
Well, he's got a lot of protective gear, so he's you know, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel good to get hit by a ball. He's just sacrificing his body to get on base. I mean, he's obsessed with reaching first base. He loves it, and so he, you know, there's times certainly to get out of the way and don't take the hit by pitch. But he's been fortunate that you know, he's got the guarding, he's got the protective guards, and you know, he is competing so hard to get on first base, and that's where his value is you know, when he's getting on base over half the time. That is such an elite table setting catalyst type metric for our offense, to know that Dom Listy's going to be on base over half the time and sets up the rest of the offense. It's a big deal. So he walks a lot, he gets hit by a lot of pitches, but the dude just gets on base, and it's great to see. And then, you know, and then you love the triple tonight too. That was great as well. But he goes up there very single focused of just get on base, and it's been he's taught a lot of the younger guys the value of how to play team offense. There's a lot of younger guys, they're working on their swing, but they're not always cognizant of playing run-scoring team offense. And Dom Listy's a winning player and makes us win because he plays team offense.
Now you get to go on the road until May 9th. What do you think you can see out of your team? What do you want to see out of your team in the stretch at NC State, at Florida State, at Coastal?
Just lean into the challenge. It's you got the X factor of its finals. You know, it's the last, basically for our guys, their last day of school will be tomorrow, because we leave tomorrow after class, and then our series is, but the last day of school is Friday, and then finals is next week. So you have an academic challenge, and then you have 2 ranked teams on the road. That's a big challenge as well during this academically stressful time. of the semester. So lean into it and embrace it and know that it's gonna be tough. You're gonna have the baseball's gonna be tough. Schools, this is where you gotta finish strong, but this is where we just gotta look at it again and how we frame stress and just say good. And you know, we don't want the easiest teams on our schedule leading into the postseason. We want it to be hard leading into the postseason, because if we're gonna do something special here and truly compete to be the last team standing, then the road is gonna be tough. It's gonna be hard, and so it's just leaning into that.
What explanation was you given by the umpires on the strike three put out on Purify there late in the game?
Oh, just that the catcher dropped the ball. Yeah, I think it was a strike, and sometimes it's hard from the side view to know if it's inside or outside. We can only see the height of the pitch. So I was just asking if, you know, because the way Jeremy reacted and the way the catcher reached for it and the way the ball popped out, it just looked like ball four from the side, but I think it was a strike.
You talked about wanting to make the opposing bullpen a rowdier spot in the preseason, and to see fans embrace that and have the beer sales there now. What's that like for you on a night like this? Where
It was
really
awesome. I would hear commotion and I would look up and the opposing pitcher had thrown a ball or, you know, misfired one, and all the students and everyone's going, oh, you know. And I think that is one of the best and coolest and healthiest ways to, you know, to participate in the rowdiness of this atmosphere, is just to, you know, to know that we have an area now that it used to be the most opposing team friendly area that you could possibly have, with the biggest visiting team bullpen in the history of college baseball, to now having that as prime real estate for our students, our fans, you know, better amenities, and just to be closer to the action. I just think that's cool for the fans, and that's really at the center of it, is how can we make this a better experience for the fans, and how can at the same time get that 10th man atmosphere we're chasing.
Coach, I spoke to Talon Bell a couple of weeks ago, and he just expressed to me how excited he was to be able to come back in and be able to pitch and really make a difference down the stretch. For you, how proud are you of him to see his development coming off of rehab, and now for him to come out on a night like tonight and really show the world who he is?
He's an incredible kid. He's had adversity in his life, which I'm sure you'll hear more of his story later on. You know, as he becomes more established in our program, but you know, he hasn't had it easy, and so, you know, then he has the injury his senior year, and you know, he was going to be a potential high draft pick, and that's, you know, devastating for a high school senior and a kid that's chasing a major league dream, and then to have a surgery and a setback like that, and still be able to overcome it. And you know, maybe thought school might have been the fallback plan and professional baseball might have been plan A, and to see him now thriving here because he's worked so hard with his rehab and been so diligent with his medical progression, it's awesome to see. But he's a terrific kid, and another one easy to cheer for. You want all the best for a guy like that.
Coach, with some of the older guys on your team, graduate players, what kind of leadership do they have on younger guys like Talon Bell?
Well, they just have more life experience, you know, more birthdays, more trips around the sun. They've seen more baseball, played more baseball. Freshmen are feeling it out. They're you know, trying to learn. And so for those guys, those grad transfers that are 23, 24 years old, to put their arm around them and, you know, just tell them, hey, I've been in your shoes before. It's moving fast and your mind is racing and your heart is pounding, and you know, this is what you can do. And so for all those guys, all those grad transfers that have taken on that role of helping these freshmen and these underclassmen navigate this uncharted territory for them, has been extremely valuable. So yeah, can't thank those older guys enough, because they are great leaders inside this program.
Anything else for Coach?